Hi friends! Today's vlog is going to be a little bit of a low energy, do a little crafting for my sanity kind of evening. I know that we're kind of coming up on the holidays and it's really easy to start to feel like any lingering burnout that you've been kind of like pushing off for a few months or longer. It's really easy for that to kind of like creep up this time of year, and I've been working a lot recently, and even though I am getting some like creative crafty time in, I'm truly not getting as much as I need to stay sane as a person, because some of it requires a lot of brain power, and sometimes at the end of the day I don't have brain power. So I thought tonight, it is Monday at about a little after 7, I thought we could hang out for the evening, and I'm gonna work on the quilted vest a little bit. All I have to do is cut squares. So I think that's something I can handle tonight. It's something I really want to wear in about a month, so I'm hoping I can finish that in a month. Projects don't happen super fast over here because I'm kind of jumping around all the time. The other things that I could work on if I, like, let's be real, lose brain power while I'm working on the patchwork, is I could get a coloring page out. I have a whole slew of like old crayons that I can use. I can print off some coloring pages from my fall Thanksgiving coloring pack. That's for sale in the comments if you're interested in that. There's kind of all skill levels in that coloring, or as detailed or not detailed as you want, like basic drawings all the way up to some more complicated ones that you can fill in. Those are fun. And if I don't want to color, I can either get out a puzzle and start flipping those over, flipping the puzzle pieces over, because you know that takes some time. Or I can just like punt for the evening and go read my book with I'm drinking a London Fog, and I have some brown butter chocolate chip pecan cookies that I made dough for over the weekend. Get myself, I need to get myself set up here. Last week I cut the vest out, and so now all of like the cutting mat and stuff are still out, so I need to move that off the table and move the cutting mat that I can use the rotary cutter on for the patchwork onto the table, and then I'll get started on cutting out some patchwork because I know this is going to take a while. Okay, so I just realized that all of the fabric that I want to use for the vest, while it came from the fabric thrift store, but it's been folded up for a long time, so I need to iron all of my fabric, so that's what I'm gonna do next. I know a lot of people don't like this process, but I truly enjoy ironing a little bit of fabric here. So satisfying. Luckily, I probably don't have to worry about these like shrinking or bleeding color anywhere, because I think when they everything gets donated, so I think it has to get washed when it gets donated. So luckily, I'm gonna reduce some shrink that way, but it still has to be ironed. Oh yeah, I can smell the starch. I'm not sure they're all starch, but this one definitely is. If there's any part of quilting that is, or sewing that is brainless, it's ironing. Get the temperature right, just move it around. Quite nice. This one's done. Oh, no, there's a little bit of a fold still. I think my iron is running out of steam, which is a necessary component of ironing cottons like this. Go through this one. I didn't quite get through this one. Okay, let me grab some water and we will fill this up. All right, so I got everything ironed, and I'm always shocked how relaxing ironing is. I know like ironing clothes and shirts and stuff is something that a lot of people don't like, but like flat pieces of fabric and the wrinkles out, the creases out and stuff like that always makes me like, it almost feels like meditative to me. It feels very calming. So that was kind of a nice break that I didn't remember I was going to do. I cleared the counter and then realized that I had wrinkly fabrics that was going to make it infinitely more difficult for me to cut. So I have started to cut. I decided that my finished block would be 5.5 inches. So I've got 6-inch block or 6-inch strips that I'm starting with from my scraps. Now I'm going to take a little treat break. One of the things that I always want to like be on this channel is like super realistic about what you can actually get done in a night. I know there's a lot of creators that do this full time and they can make like cool long everything I made in a day, everything I, like they're like cranking out projects like it's their job. And for me, there's a lot of things that I have to do work-wise on my computer during the day. So really, I start work at 7, maybe 8, depending on the day. I go to the gym in the morning, then I start work and I work until lunchtime, and then I take an hour for lunch, and then I work again until 5. That's 8 hours, and a lot of times I work more in the evenings after most people have started taking a break, and it's really not good for my tendency to get burned out pretty fast. And especially going into the holidays, just like dealing with the extra like energy and potential like the expectations of other people really like fries my system pretty fast. I'm sure I'm not the only person that's had that experience. So in the last couple of weeks, I've felt my system has been like on the way to like full pause everything burnout. And realistically, that's not something that I want to have to deal with. And I have the tools to keep myself out of it. I know how to keep myself out of it. But there's always that little gremlin brain in the back of my head that says, you need to do more productive things. So working, laundry, dishes, getting caught up on food, on, like the everyday drudge. And I'm trying to be more conscious and intentional about making the space to work on like the quilted vest, to work on, say I've got fleece back there, I want to make some like sweatpants because I don't have a lot of I just don't really have a lot of clothing right now, and I deserve to have clothing that fits me. That's another rant for another day. But sometimes I've been into the burnout enough times to know that there's got to be a better way. And sometimes the burnout is unavoidable, and sometimes you are like deep in the trenches of it for months. But if you can find something creative, something with like a creative hobby with your hands, it doesn't have to be quilting, it doesn't have to be sewing, those are like my big ones. But like I got new tires today, so I took my knitting with me instead of sitting there and scrolling on my phone for 45 minutes. That's something I would have done. Intentionally taking the time to like disconnect my hands from my phone, because I'll still watch a movie or still throw on a vlog while I'm working on these projects. But intentionally taking the tech out of my hands is a huge win and a huge stress reliever for me, even when my brain is like just go lay in bed and scroll. So I don't know where I was going with that, but we're having tea and treats and life tea apparently. So there's my little break. So anyways, I just always want to be real and frank and casual with y'all about where I am, because polished is exhausting, and the reality is kind of going into a season where it's really important to keep tabs on where your energy levels are, where your brain is at. For me, I can kind of feel in my body when it's happening, and I have to like put on the brakes and like really put some effort into forcing myself to do things like this. Let's get ready for the holidays, and let's get ready to keep our freaking sanity during the holidays. Anyways, let's keep cutting 6-inch strips for the quilt. I thought that that was going to be a lot more brain power or math than it ended up being. Ended up doing 6-inch squares, so I got a bunch of these cut in the light blue, some of the dark green. I'll need to cut more green still. I cut the maroon pretty wonky, but I managed to get quite a few out of it, so I don't need any more of this. Plus, I don't have any more. And then I got like six of this one out of it. So what I have left is I need to cut the bright red, and I need to cut the green pattern, which I have a lot of. I think I'll only cut maybe half of that, and I need to cut more of this pattern, but I think I mostly need a lot of red and green still. So when I come back down another night, that's where I'll start, and that's a good place for me to stop for tonight because my brain is tired. And sometimes that's just how projects go. Like, feels like grand and wonderful to try to get a project done in a night or in a week or something like that, like fast, and you can like crank it out. And sure, you could, but for a lot of projects, like that would require you dropping everything and working only on that project for like the entire time. And the reality is you have work and life things that you want to do and that you need to do, and sometimes your projects just take a little while. They take a little while to crank through because you're working on them in like half an hour to maybe 2 hours if you've got it in the evenings. So I feel like I've made pretty good progress tonight for like an hour and 45 minutes ish. So the next step after I cut the other colors will be to start making these into half square triangles. So that should be fun. And I'll have to figure out like what pattern I want to do and all that, but I think I want to do kind of a pinwheel looking thing with the half square triangles, but it might just be half square triangles randomly together. We'll see. Depends on how much I end up having because this is kind of scrappy. Let me know if you like these like realistic, real person evening, get a little bit done here or there vlogs, or if there's something else you would like to see. Let me know in the comments. If you want to hang out with me a little bit more, hit subscribe, and then it's super helpful if you hit the like button on the video. So I will see you next week on Wednesday. Bye.